Hey YouTube, RicoKnows here. Going to talk to you guys about a transfer portal update. You see it here. They have it on 3. Tony Mitchell has just signed with East Mississippi JUCO. If it's Eastern Mississippi Community College, EMCC, that is the original Last Chance U, if you ever watched the documentary on Netflix. Now, let's talk about Tony Mitchell. Former 5-star safety, got arrested last offseason, right? Before he ever played a game for Alabama, Tony Mitchell was arrested as an early enrollee because he thought he was some drug kingpin. So he had about $7,000 in cash, not illegal. He had a gun that wasn't registered to him. That is illegal, but his passenger claimed it was his gun, so there's a whole nother issue there, right? He also had a scale. And when you see a digital scale, that tells me distribution. You have drugs and you want to distribute them to people at an incremental amount to ensure you can make maximum profits. That's a problem. They also had over 200 grams of marijuana, and they were trying to sell that in Florida. That's illegal, not authorized. You can't do that in that state. Now, some of you might say, that's not really drugs. Having a gun is very American and all this stuff. Well, what is the criminal part of all this? Is he also evaded police going 140 plus miles per hour. Now, that is reckless. That could potentially kill someone else. That is absurd. That is exactly what Henry Ruggs was going when he crashed into the back of that woman and burned her alive. Shout out to her lost puppy as well. When I look at Tony Mitchell, I see a young man who made a grave mistake, a terrible mistake. And all he got was a suspension from the team during the spring, and he missed some practices in spring ball. That's it. Now, he didn't play much, wasn't in the 2 deep. Wasn't a contributor in that regard. He's at Alabama, for crying out loud. And Nick Saban went on this spree where he talked about, what do you want me to do? You want me to throw him out on the streets? That's not the best place for him to be. And it's like, no, he's not going on the streets, bro. What you need to do is take away his opportunity to play at a prestigious university like Alabama. He shouldn't get to play in the SEC and experience college football playoffs when he took a plea deal for 3 years probation. You don't have a convicted felon. He took a felony plea deal on 3 years probation. And you got him on the roster talking about, well, I got to give him a chance so he makes something of himself. No, you don't. Make an Alabama scholarship and opportunity more prestigious than Last Chance U. So now he goes, gets a new coaching staff. Coach Saban retires. Shout out to the GOAT. And the new coaches come in. And Kalen DeBoer and these boys start looking around going, hey, man, we ain't got room for this type of shit around here. And this young man finds himself in the transfer portal. Don't think he went there. Don't think he went there because he couldn't compete. No, he went there so late in the spring, it's one of those exit meetings. It's one of those last pushes to the portal, okay? And you go to the portal, and now you can't find any takers. Academics? Well, I can tell you that enrolling in a JUCO is academic driven for sure, because you need to ensure that you are academically qualified for the next semester. If not, you'll be taking a preferred walk-on like Ajay Hall, because then you're not academically eligible to get your scholarship or your assistance. So this is the case with Tony Mitchell. He's now going to a JUCO, and everybody goes, and they write on there and they say, this is what happens, you know, he's going to be fine. He's going to go there for 1 semester. And, oh my goodness, you guys report this shit. Excuse me, TikTok in the middle of a video, getting reported. Outrageous. This is real. He's going to go to JUCO for a semester, and then he'll be back at the highest level, meaning Auburn, right? Auburn will take him because he is an Alabama kid. I think he should be playing at UAB at best. And I think that when you make mistakes in this world, there should be consequences for your actions. It's called accountability. And I think when you commit a crime and you're guilty of that crime, it should change the trajectory of your life. It should not be you sit out the spring and you miss a couple of practices and we slap you on the wrist and we handle that internally. I don't want to hear none of that shit. It should change your life. You should go through life saying, man, I had a chance to be great, and I blew it at that one time. I blew it that one time when I was at Alabama. I'll never forget the greatest basketball player I ever saw at the high school level. He was the 4th all-time leading scorer at the time of his graduation. His name was Caleb Gervin, fourth all-time leading scorer in California high school history. Caleb Gervin, George Gervin, the Iceman, George Gervin's nephew. Now, Caleb Gervin today is an early 40-year-old man. And he has a son named Cash Gervin. Shout out to him. He's a pretty good player. But Caleb Gervin, he and his cousin G. Gervin, who played at Houston, these guys were phenomenal. Caleb Gervin had every gene you ever wanted. He was such an amazing basketball player. I'll never forget the first time I ever saw him. I saw him many times in high school, but the first time I ever saw him just take over the court to where people went, damn, who's that? It was at the Anaheim Pond in San Diego, or Anaheim, California. The Anaheim Pond. My bad, I said San Diego. I'm tripping, bro. It was at Anaheim. It was CIF Championships in California. I want to say it was 1997, 98 time frame, somewhere around there. And it was 97. It had to be 97. I just remember we were at the gym that day. We're at the arena, and we're watching, and we see this incredible guard come out from Crossroads, and his name was Baron Davis. This was before the knee injuries, and Baron Davis is just dominating, and he wins the state title, if you will, the CIF championship at the time. He wins the CIF championship, Southern Section, Crossroads, small school. Okay, cool. Next game on the court is Cathedral City versus, I can't remember who, and there is this Caleb Gervin kid, and he puts up so many points. And I remember, you know how like the crowd changes over for each state title game? Like the new crowd comes into the arena, and then the new crowd comes in, the new crowd. So the next game after this was going to be Dominguez, the number one team in the country. Dominguez had a 7-foot freshman named Tyson Chandler. They had Jason Thomas at power forward. They had Tayshaun Prince was the Mr. Basketball. He was amazing. They had Jason Thomas he was Mr. Football, I think. He went to USC as a dual threat quarterback and UNLV, played for John Robinson at both places. And I think they had a guard named Keith Kincaid and a point guard, Willie Hurst, played running back at Washington. The team was amazing. The team was amazing, and you had NBA caliber players on this team, and they were all great. And I remember the fans walking in. And the fans were walking in because they got the greatest team you've ever seen. And there's a 6-foot guard on the court playing above the rim, dunking it everywhere, hitting threes when he wants, just doing anything. You saw an NBA player on the court, and you knew it. And you knew it. And I remember one of the people in the crowd go, yo, who's that guy? I said, I had the program in front of me. I said, dude, it is Caleb Gervin. Oh, my God, that's the Iceman's nephew? Yeah, dude, he's Caleb Gervin, bro. He's the 4th all-time leading scorer in high school history in California. I remember just gassing him. Oh, where's he going to college? Oh, he's committed to Louisville. This is not Rick Pitino, Louisville. This is Denny Crump. He didn't go to any AAU camps. He didn't play on any AAU team. He was unheard of. Nobody knew who he was. He wasn't in any recruiting magazines. He was just this guy who was a baller. And he's going to Louisville. Louisville knew who he was. You're going from California to Louisville. They know who you are. And I'll never forget, he's there. We don't hear about him. He redshirts. And I think they hire Pitino or somebody else comes in. I can't remember. Don't get me wrong. But they signed Reese Gaines, this 6'3", 6'4" guard, Reese Gaines, who ended up being a draft pick for the Pistons, right? But Reese Gaines comes, and out of nowhere, they take Caleb Gervin and they kick him out of school with 2 other guys, I think, for smoking weed in their dorm room. Smoking weed. He smoked marijuana, and it changed his life forever. He got kicked out of Louisville. He didn't want to lose a year of eligibility, so he transferred to Azusa Pacific. So he goes to Azusa Pacific, and he plays the rest of his career there. Eventually, no surprise to anybody, he turns into an NAIA All-American, right? Turns into an amazing player, but never played in the NBA. I think he played overseas for a while. Today, Caleb Gervin, he's been a high school coach. He's been in basketball, involved in basketball his whole life. But that mistake in college, as fair or unfair as it was, changed the trajectory of his life. I'm sure he has regrets in life. I'm sure he's learned from his mistakes and he's become a great man. But it changed the trajectory of his life. He was going like this, and now it's like this. And this is everybody. I know the mistakes I made in my life that changed the trajectory of my life. So when I look at a guy like Tony Mitchell and I see you take a plea deal, 3 years probation, and you're still at Alabama like nothing happened, it didn't change the trajectory of your life. It's a problem. When there's no accountability and no consequences for your actions, let me tell you the end result of that. It's habitual offenders. It's repeat offenders. So here we have a young man that has an opportunity to make the best of what's going to be coming forward. But I'm really happy to see him at a JUCO. I'm really ecstatic to see him face consequences for his actions, because there's somebody out there right now getting a college scholarship because of this issue. I want to make that clear. There is somebody on the Alabama 85 that earned that scholarship by doing the right thing, going to practice, watching film, lifting weights, going to class, not breaking the law. There's somebody on that roster that normally wouldn't be there because Tony Mitchell would have that spot. And he doesn't anymore. And I don't think he deserves it. And that is my stance. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people don't like hearing that. But that's the reality of the situation. There are far greater players that have had their life changed because of consequences and accountability. You're not special. Your situation is not unique. There are 25, 55 stars every year, however many there are, 25 of them, 30 of them, I don't know. You're one of many people. You don't get to do this. Good luck. Enjoy JUCO. Enjoy the bus rides. And we'll see you at the top. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows.